This is the best, most comforting thing I've made in a long time, and it was so easy to make. To marinate our chicken, we'll combine chipotle and adobo, a few cloves of garlic, the zest and juice of a few limes. Whenever I use citrus of any kind in a recipe, I love using the zest. Some freshly squeezed orange juice, salt, cumin, smoked paprika, dried oregano, black pepper, and some neutral oil to a blender. Blend this up, then pour it over some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, toss on some gloves, and mix until fully coated. You know when you're making something, but you can just tell by the smell that it's gonna be good? This marinade is exactly that. Cover it up with plastic wrap, then place it in the fridge for at least 4 hours or preferably overnight. Next, we'll move on to make our creamy pinto beans. I've always felt like beans in burritos are normally an afterthought, so I thought with this recipe we'd make some really great beans that you could love just by themselves. These have already soaked overnight, and after they're drained, I'll add them to a pot along with some yellow onion, smashed garlic cloves, a dried bay leaf, some cumin, and a sprinkle of salt. Cover this all up with water about an inch above the beans, then turn the heat to high, and once it reaches a boil, reduce to a simmer with the lid on but slightly cracked for 1 to 2 hours or until the beans are soft and tender. To finish these off, I'm going to pick out all the aromatics, although I may leave a bit of the garlic behind for some extra flavor, and then mash to your liking. I like a good mix, so I like to still see a couple full-size beans in there, but I also want to mash enough up that we get this natural creaminess. If you want to thicken them up more, now's also the time. Turn up your heat and continue stirring until you're happy. Beans aren't necessarily the most beautiful food out there, but as I've learned to appreciate food more and more over time, I've learned to appreciate flavor above all else, and that is what matters here. These beans are delicious. To make our cilantro lime rice, we'll rinse off some long grain white rice until the water runs clear, then cooking it the same way it's done at many taquerias. First by adding some oil to a pot and cranking up the heat, then adding in our rice and toasting it for just 2 to 3 minutes. This adds a delicious nutty flavor to the rice and helps to make sure those grains don't clump together and stay individual when they're in the burrito. Once toasted, I'll top it off with chicken stock and salt, and once it comes to a boil, turn it to a simmer, then cover and cook until light and fluffy. I make my flour tortillas homemade for 2 reasons. First, they taste better than store-bought, and they're really easy to make. All you do is combine flour, lard, and salt, and mix until it feels like lumpy sand, and then add some warm water and continue mixing with your hands until a dough starts to form. It is literally one of the easiest things you can possibly make. Once you've formed a dough and collected everything from the side of the bowl, place it on a flat work surface and knead for about 5 minutes until the dough becomes soft and tacky. We'll cover and let this rest while we finish off our rice. I'll add this to a bowl, then chop up some fresh cilantro or parsley if you don't like cilantro, then toss that in along with plenty of lime zest, a little lime juice, and one last sprinkle of salt. Fold this all together and you've got a cilantro lime rice that's packed with so much flavor, it'll take your burrito to the next level. Once our dough is rested, we'll cut it in half and make our tortillas by adding a tiny bit of flour to our work surface, then rolling it out until it's nice and thin, about 14 inches across. Once it's nice and thin, throw it directly onto a hot, dry plancha, or any flat work surface or pan you might have at home. Move it around to make sure it gets even heat across your pan, and if any big air bubbles appear, pop them to let the steam escape unless you want to have problems rolling your burritos later. When your tortilla is finishing up, line a baking sheet with a damp kitchen towel, then toss it on there and cover it up with another damp kitchen towel. Put this in a lightly warm oven to steam until you're ready to roll your burritos. To cook our chicken, we'll add some high smoke point oil to our plancha and let it cook until it gets a nice char. This is one of the most important steps when it comes to making our burritos because this is where we develop the most flavor. Anytime you cook with anything spicy like chipotle and adobo, you do want to cook in a well-ventilated area because anytime you heat up spice, it fills your kitchen and you can smell it and feel it. And before anybody says burnt, my goal right now is to get a nice dark black char on the bottom of all my chicken. It can be spots, it can be the whole thing. I want that char and I want that flavor. There we go, perfect. If I could pick one, that's the one. The moment you learn that this equals flavor is the moment everything in the kitchen will change for you. Once all of our chicken has been cooked through, we'll lay it off to rest and soak in all its juices. The final step before assembly is our 3 sauces, toppings, whatever you want to call them. First, a quick pico de gallo with chopped tomatoes, chopped jalapenos, chopped white onion, finely chopped cilantro, a squeeze of lime juice, and a pinch of salt. A quick mix, and that's done. Next, our chipotle crema. All we need is Mexican crema or sour cream, chipotle and adobo, a squeeze of lime juice, and a pinch of salt. This one is also done. I told you they'd be quick. Add garlic, salt, jalapeno, and cilantro stems to your molcajete, and then pound them into a rough paste. Then we'll add some onion and continue pounding to release some of their juices. And now is when we add our nice ripe avocados. You pick whatever level of ripeness you want here, as well as a squeeze of lime juice and mash until you're happy. Everyone likes a different level of chunkiness, so this is where you can customize. That's it, I'm happy. Our chicken's had plenty of time to rest and finish cooking, and I'm just gonna say this loud and clear, do not get rid of all these juices, oops, on the pan, I just lost some. That sucks. Don't swing yours around, set it carefully off to the side. I'll show you what to do with that in just a moment. For the chicken, I'm just gonna chop it into nice cubes. There's no right or wrong answer here. Now it's just time to eat. I actually like the cubes being in different shapes and sizes. I feel like it makes the burrito more fun to eat, as long as there's no weird stringy bits in there. Do all the work for whoever's eating the burrito, okay? Make sure it's a luxurious bite every time. So I've got myself a bowl. I will scoop my chicken into the bowl. Here comes the best part, besides eating the whole burrito, which is adding all those delicious pan drippings back to the chicken and giving it a quick mix. Chipotle, take notes. Eating the chicken without that juice added back versus eating it with it back, huge difference. Now, to assemble, place down your hot and steamy tortilla. This allows you to roll it up easier. Nice layer of Oaxaca cheese, cilantro, lime, rice. That warm rice will help to start to melt the cheese. Then, creamy pinto beans spooned over the top of the rice. I always get too excited and I fill it too much. Chicken, a nice, generous portion of it. Pico de gallo, a few pickled jalapenos, some of that beautiful crema, and maybe a little more Oaxaca cheese, because why not? And now we roll. That is a big boy. Squeeze it in together a little bit, get it real tight, and then we roll. There we go. And I'll just either fold or trim this extra part under. When you make your own tortillas, you might have a little bit of extra. I don't think there's any shame in just trimming it off. My final trick is to peel it back and add a little bit of cheese there. That's gonna act as our glue in just a moment. And place it carefully and confidently into a warm pan to seal. Now, if you just wanna seal it on one side, you could put the guacamole in the top part of your burrito. That way it doesn't actually touch the heat, but I prefer to just sort of lob it on there as I'm eating with a spoon, whenever I feel like getting a bite of that creamy avocado. How's it look? Let's see. I'll give you a sneak peek. Perfect. I probably need something to help me pick this thing up. No, that's not gonna work. Here we go. Put it back here. Oh my gosh, that looks good. I think I'm gonna slice it at an angle. Yeah, I like that idea. We ready? I thought I was, but I actually don't even think I was ready for this. To eat it, I'll add on just a bit of my fresh guacamole, and there's so much going on that I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't change a thing with this one. It's perfect. I can't wait for some of you to make this. It's insane.